Today is Wednesday, November the 11th. Let's start off with looking at the ES. So you can see that the Fibonacci's of the Globex high to Globex low were important. Globex high was resistance here. Once it got broken, the 61.8% between yesterday's high and low came into play. Then we went down to the 61.8 of the Globex high and the Globex low, and then back up to the same point, 61.8 of the prior day's movement. So those are important things to be watching if you're trading the futures. When we're looking at stocks overall, the market volatility is pretty much at its regular low, but is starting to move up. The market ended up only 2 points higher, so when CNBC posts something that says all-time high, keep in mind it's only up 2 points, but given that we started off down 12, that's a pretty good comeback, given that there was no good China news. And the market doesn't really seem to be worried about anything on the impeachment side. But decliners led advancers by 54% to 40%. That's 14 points, which is going to take our market breadth, which hasn't been updated yet on the McClellan site, but down to closer to the oversold area, where it can bounce, but typically hasn't. If you look here, it's gone below, bounced, gone below, gone below, gone below, gone below, gone below, bounced, gone below, bounced. So we've had more instances where we have exceeded the oversold before we've made a recovery. So just keep an eye on that. We are going lower. Take a look at the charts now. The SPX starting to move in a sideways manner. So we should keep an eye on this channel that's forming here. Let's draw that channel. You can draw the channel. I want to make this video as short as possible. You can draw the channel. I'll put the channel in later. Apple, just moving higher. It's going to 138.2%, 268.41. There's nothing holding it back. If there's some good China news, this stock is going to just go crazy. I am short puts, which is my way now of holding on to cash and reducing my risk, but still wanting to be part of the Apple success story. Caterpillar dropped out of this channel, so I am glad to be still holding my short 133 calls, but they expire on Friday, so I'm going to have to roll those, and I'm going to roll them into the December 135s because I still have a feeling that Caterpillar is coming down. Where it's coming to, well, it's below the 8 now. If there's any good news about China, it could bounce, but I mean, it's had this kind of news, I believe, based on anticipation of a China move. This, on the weekly chart, is what you call an inverse head and shoulders. And we could draw a line here, and we will. We'll draw it from here to here and extend it further. And we could be coming down, that's a long way to go, but we could be coming down to test that head and shoulders line, but that's a long way to go. The first thing we're going to look at is right here with the Chiku span hitting the cloud. Could it hit the cloud at 143.26 this week in the next 2 days? That's entirely possible. So let's put our marker here and let's watch that carefully. I wouldn't be going long on Caterpillar. GDX, if you were holding gold today, it started to outperform and then it just finished with support on the 8 EMA. It's still a good hedge. Volume was decent but below average. Now let's go to our other gold trade, which is KL, which shot up and gave us initially a buy signal, but the buy signal will come tomorrow if we get confirmation that this is a breakout, which is going to be another green candle higher. Now, I got out of my trade entirely right here at 47.53 and 47.58 in two different lots, 100 and 400. Why? Because I have had gains over the last few days that have completely wiped out a $1,500 loss that I incurred when I bought up here, and incurred with subsequent drops to here. So, although I only made $250 on the trade totally, I look at it a different way. I was able to come out of a $1,500 loss to make a $220 profit. That's a $1,700 swing, and I'm very happy with that. I will buy it again because some analyst, Morgan Stanley I believe, but it was a credible one, said that the stock is probably going to 61 or 62, and it's now the darling of the gold miners. So as long as gold and GDX is doing well, KL should outperform that. And look at that, 3.5% today on a flat S&P 500, and GDX only up 0.6%. WDC down, continues to lose strength. Whirlpool, support at the cloud, very interesting. We still have a little bit more that we can drop, and we did, down to the 38.2. So now we have the bounce off the 38.2 and support at the cloud. If you wanted to make a move into Whirlpool, now would be the time. If we have a green candle tomorrow, you can buy more Whirlpool for a short-term hold, but get rid of it as soon as it falls through the cloud. The Chiku span is still below these candles, so any move up is going to be constrained by these candles, but it's also going to be constrained by the 50 moving average. So you could buy on a bounce tomorrow and then sell half of your position at the 50 EMA, because I believe that there will be sellers sitting there at 153. Amazon, pretty steep drop today, but look where it got its support. I said long ago that I thought it was going to go flat, and that appears to be coming true. I mean, we did have a move up, but into the cloud, and nothing good happens in the cloud. And we've come back down now to get support exactly at the Senku span A, which is the bottom of an inverted cloud where the top span moves below the bottom span. That's why the cloud is red. Not because the stock is going down, but simply because there's been a reversal between the top span and the bottom span when they crossed here. Google, I'm not interested in Google, so today will be the last day that I even touch on Google. So that's it for today. That's 8 minutes. Hope that was helpful. I do believe, because of the McClellan oscillator and today's really tough day, that we are heading sideways or downwards and looking for support on the 8 EMA 3080. If we lose that, we could come down quite a bit. The only gap to fill is all the way down at 3051.